We learned so much from Amy Seiler on our last segment about western Nebraska plants that we decided to have her back, give her another shot at talking about all the beautiful things she loved. So, Amy, tell us what you brought today and tell us why you can grow it and we can't, and maybe what some of the alternatives are west versus east.
Okay, sounds great. Well, I brought some really unique plants today, and the main thing about a lot of these plants is that they would prefer very limited water. So they're ideal plants for central and western Nebraska. The other thing that's unique about these plants is that they would prefer to be in a higher pH soil. Wow. So that is, we're always looking for plants that will grow in a higher pH soil, and what we have in front of us are some really good ones. The first thing that I would like to show you, this is Apache Plume, and this is a semi-evergreen shrub, and it blooms a white flower, but then it has this unbelievable pink flower. It just looks like this silky, wispy, not flower, seed head, excuse me, and it looks incredible all summer long. And so you have all this great texture and interest, and it looks incredible in a dry landscape where sometimes you can lack a little bit of flower interest. Great plant, 3 to 5 feet tall maybe. It'll be shorter if it gets less water. So that's a good one for people to try.
We have tried that in the east with a little success if it's dry enough. And probably our high humidity and our lower pH is going to limit its life a little bit.
It would not enjoy that very much. It really wants to be neglected. And I will just forewarn people, when they first plant it, the bloom is not that impressive. It's the seed head is why you plant this plant. The seed head will take your breath away.
Perfect. All right, what else did you bring for us?
Okay, I brought another fun plant, and what I have in front of me right now, this is called Wavy Leaf Oak. It is an actual oak, and it is native to southwest Colorado, New Mexico, and it is an incredible plant. It's a small tree or a large shrub. You can prune it up to have a multi-stem trunk, and it is incredibly drought tolerant. It holds its foliage. It's kind of a silvery foliage color, but Kim, as you touch it, it's spiny.
I thought it was a holly and I thought, holy cow, she has brought a holly with no green left in the leaves. I've never ever seen that plant.
I've used that in several landscapes, and it gives great winter interest and something to talk about in the summer for sure.
Perfect. All right, you also have another oak, I think, if I'm not mistaken on that one.
You are correct. This is just a scrub oak or gamble oak, and this is a plant that we really like to use in the West. It's much smaller than your oaks back east, but I like this plant because it will hold its foliage in the winter depending on the genetics of it, and it gives me a little bit more winter interest. It also helps block the wind a little bit in the landscapes, captures a little bit of snow, and I love this leaf look in the wintertime when I don't have much to look at. Plus it's great habitat for animals.
You know, and we actually can grow gamble here. It's a different form, but at least it looks like gamble. And then you brought truly a broadleaf evergreen that we decided is not your native, but it's amazing to see it growing here.
Yes, I actually clipped this from my neighbor's house, and I had originally thought that it was Oregon grape holly, and we can grow the smaller form of Oregon grape holly. It's native out there, but I found this can grow out west. It needs to be in a protected location, and that's exactly where I found it. But I've watched my neighbor's plant for years, and it has never desiccated. It looks good all of the time. So in just the right spot, you can have some of these broadleaf evergreens, and they'll do okay.
Which is perfect. So the combination is great, and as we always love to say to our guests, thank you so much for coming, driving all the way in, and sharing what we would love to have, but we live here.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.